In the early 1970s, a series of chilling murders shocked the quiet, academic community of Stanford, California. Young women vanished without a trace, only to be found days later, strangled, sexually assaulted, and left in remote wooded areas. Clues were few, witnesses none, and the killer? Gone, vanished into thin air. For nearly half a century, the cases remained cold, but when the truth finally surfaced, it pointed to someone who had lived among them all along. His name was John Arthur Getreu. Born August 26, 1944 in Newark, Ohio, he was the son of a U.S. Army sergeant. His childhood was spent traveling from base to base, Japan, Hawaii, and then Germany. In 1960, the family moved to Bad Kreuznach, West Germany, where John enrolled at the American High School for Military Families. By all appearances, he was an average teenager, clean-cut, sociable, involved in the Boy Scouts. But in the summer of 1963, everything changed. At a school dance that June, John lured 15-year-old Margaret L. Williams, the daughter of a military chaplain, to a darkened sports field behind the school. There, he raped her, then beat her to death. He was arrested shortly after. The case stunned the American military community in Europe. Tried in a German court, Getreu was sentenced to 10 years in prison, but served just over 5. In 1969, he returned to the U.S. A free man, he started over in Reno, Nevada, then settled in Palo Alto, California, just miles from Stanford University. He married, had a child, worked as a lab tech, a gym instructor, and eventually a Boy Scout leader. To neighbors and colleagues, he seemed ordinary, responsible, even likable. But the darkness inside him had never gone away. In 1975, a 17-year-old girl in his scout troop accused him of rape. He was convicted, yet only sentenced to 6 months in jail and a fine. His wife left him. Still, John Getreu slipped back into society. Once again, his true nature hidden from view. What no one realized at the time was that by 1975, he had already taken 2 more lives. On February 13, 1973, 21-year-old Leslie Perlov, a Stanford Law Library assistant, disappeared after leaving work. Her car was found parked along the roadside, with no signs of struggle. 3 days later, her body was discovered in the foothills above campus. She had been strangled with her own silk scarf. There were signs of sexual assault, but the forensic tools of the day couldn't identify her killer. The case stalled. A year later, in March 1974, another woman was found dead. 21-year-old Janet Taylor, the daughter of Stanford's former football coach. She, too, had been strangled. She, too, had likely been assaulted. 2 eerily similar murders. But no witnesses, no leads, no arrests. Rumors swirled, even implicating Ted Bundy at one point. But without physical evidence, both cases were declared cold. Fast forward to 2018. From under Leslie Perlov's broken fingernail, a trace of DNA had been preserved. It was sent to Parabon NanoLabs, a company that specializes in genetic genealogy. The DNA didn't match anyone in the criminal database, but it did link to a family in Ohio. From there, investigators built a family tree. They narrowed the search, and one name stood out: John Getreu. On October 31, 2018, police discreetly followed Getreu in Hayward, California. He discarded a used coffee cup. It was collected for testing. The DNA matched. On November 20, 2018, John Getreu was arrested at his home. He was 74 years old. Further investigation revealed his DNA also matched evidence from the 1974 murder of Janet Taylor. 2 murders, 2 lives stolen, and 1 man, a man who had lived among his victims, undetected for decades. On September 14, 2021, after less than 2 hours of deliberation, a jury convicted John Getreu of first-degree murder in the death of Janet Taylor. He was sentenced to life in prison, without parole. In January 2023, he pleaded guilty to the 1973 murder of Leslie Perlov. Too frail to attend in person, he appeared by video from a prison hospital. The courtroom was silent as Leslie's sister, Diane Perlov, addressed him. "There may be justice, but there is no peace." Just 8 months later, on September 22, 2023, John Getreu died in custody. He was 79. To date, he is confirmed to have murdered at least 3 women, 1 in Germany, 2 in California. But authorities suspect there may be more. Several other cold cases in Northern California are now being re-examined for possible links to Getreu. John Getreu lived a double life: a father, a scout leader, a lab technician. To most, he was just another man on the street. But beneath the surface was a predator, calculated, remorseless, and hidden in plain sight. If not for advancements in DNA technology and the persistence of cold case detectives, his secrets might never have come to light. Justice came, late but certain, because the truth has a way of waiting until science catches up.